So let me play those last two bars, the D minor and the E7, and we'll pick up the chorus there. So let me take it 2 bars here before the chorus and do those triplet rhythms, and then pick up this minor pentatonic riff. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one time around where I'm cycling through this riff, or 2 octaves of it, twice. The whole thing's going to repeat again. So let's take a look at what I'm doing here. You could play it in a different register if it sounds better, so, you know. Like that. I wrote it open stringed. Depends on what's easier for you, but that's the riff, and you're just going to cycle that a few times here. So let me take it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Repeat. This is the last time. We end on that E. And the only thing that's tricky about this is you're skipping the downbeat. So you hesitate, a pause there. And that's the end of the chorus. Now, what happens in the song is the verse, the B section, and the chorus all repeat again. And there's obviously a bunch of variations in his bass line, but a lot of these motifs are going to be repeated, maybe with some variation, maybe extra note here, a little improvisation there, change in the octave here. You can, of course, listen to the recording and transcribe that yourself, or try to listen for the patterns even better, if you can hear the little motifs he's using. And then you can just take those little motifs yourself and chain them together however you want. Just as long as you're covering the chord changes and getting good notes in there, it's a great learning exercise to learn how to walk interesting bass line in between the changes. And with all these chromatic approaches, alternate notes, this, that, and the other thing, you can come up with an unlimited variety of bass lines that all sound like Moondance, but that are actually your creation. So, or you can, of course, transcribe it all out and play it the way it is on the record. Hopefully you find the improvisation a little more interesting. But speaking of that, what I'm going to do now is show you the transcribed version of the piano solo. We'll just go through it, and you can see some of these motifs in action and know at least how the piano solo goes, and you can apply that then to your repertoire of licks for the Moondance song. So let's take a look at the beginning of the piano solo here. I'm going to start in this register up here, 7th fret, and we get a lot of the same stuff here. A, C. Now here we're going up to this high F on a strong beat, on a downbeat. And that is over the C chord. This is a strange note, and all I can say is chalk this up to improvisation and the choice of the musician. There's no necessarily harmonic reason for the note, except for the way it works its way back down. In some sense, since it's bar 2, it's a weak bar. Bar 1 is the strong bar, bar 2 is the weak bar. It's the answering motif, so. It's working its way back down as a line to get back to the A minor again. And in that sense, you know, you can justify the note as being valid, even though it's not really part of the chord. So this is where it sort of gets interesting. And so long as your ear can follow along and it feels right, making lines that are maybe nonsensical from a harmonic standpoint it's okay. You know, if it sounds good, it is good, really, at the end of the day. The harmony analysis comes after the music. It shouldn't be the foundation of the music. It should always be a tool to help you play the music, at least in my opinion. So, okay, once again, here. We get down to the secondary. Let me play that again. All the way down to this low A here. So that's the first 4 bars. Let's do that one more time. That's more like pentatonic stuff. And then with a chromatic approach back in again. Okay, so this is the second line there, starting bar 5 of the solo. I'm sorry, bar 6. That's an interesting bar right there. So we got a high A, low A, fifth of A, and then an A sharp, or B flat, however you want to call it. It's a chromatic approach from above, not from below. So let's take a look at that. And it's on a very weak beat, beat 4. So strong, weaker, semi-strong, and the weakest, leading back to a good strong note again. So that makes a lot of sense. This riff on this line, he just keeps on going up and up and up and up, sort of chromatically, but it all does make sense. So let's take a look at that line at bar 42 here, where he's going up and up and up. We start off on an A, minor third. That's a little chromatic to the high A, and then chromatic to the B, and then C, chromatic up to the D, making this riff, this pentatonic riff there. Then once we're at 45 here, it's all pentatonic stuff back down. And that's where I'm going to stop the transcriptions once we get to the B section of the solo. It's roughly, or much more similar to the regular part of the song. This whole verse vamping thing is where the bass line really gets crazy. So let's take a look at from 45 again, where the pentatonic stuff starts. We're going down the pentatonic scale, back up again, chromatic, then just pentatonic. We end up on that D for the D minor. Let me do that one more time, a little bit faster here, from the pentatonic section. And then we end up on the D minor. Go back through those chord changes again, just like the B section and the rest of the song. So, a lot of information here, a lot of interesting approaches to the chord changes that make this a tricky one to transcribe because the chords are fairly simple in the verse, but the bass line is all over the place. Different approaches. It's all linear. He's got motion. There's different shapes in the way he plays it. Who knew a bass line could be, this complex for this simple of a set of chord changes? So hats off to John Klingberg for putting together something interesting and something that can help you learn more about walking bass lines with a very popular tune such as Moondance. So there you have it, Van Morrison's Moondance.